So this uh, this thing with the CrowdStrike, where it supposedly took down the world's internet. Uh, it seems like that it's the Microsoft-based IT, and as well as probably Android-based. Uh, not the open source Android, uh, but the Google Android Android version. So I was I haven't really paid attention to it until just around about now. But one thing I did know is that China did not experience that failure, and I have a feeling that Russia did not have experienced that either, or any of the other non-Western countries that China's technology is has a growing market in. Such as particularly Huawei, with their 5G system, and those other companies that do like how Huawei does. I'm fairly sure that that if there's because I know there's a growing amount in Africa where Huawei and other Chinese companies have been gaining ground, a lot of ground, and as a matter of fact, especially with the Chinese Belt and Road Initiative, which is helping to build up infrastructure both in communications, energy, schooling, hospitals, transportation, and so on and so forth. So, anyways, I was just going through the. I don't use Google. I use Brave, and so I looked up, if China had actually experienced it. And the thing is I read Cloud Tech and a few others on the internet, and they basically were saying no, China really didn't experience, actually didn't experience any breakdown of the internet. All of the everything went on as usual. Cloud Tech did kind of put a little spin on things, putting a little bit of a question, which was unnecessary, a spin question, because after that little bit of putting that little spin, they basically went on to say, basically China didn't experience anything. Was not there was because China has been putting a lot of effort to have digital and technological sovereignty, such as Harmony OS by Huawei, which is basically something like Microsoft's Windows, Microsoft's operating system, Windows. But Harmony is actually better because quite a bit better from what I've been looking at. Of course, I can't get access to Harmony over here. But then there's Alibaba's cloud, as well as others. So China did not experience any of that. Hong Kong, which is part of China, I understand it's part of China, but however, due to the fact that Hong Kong was at one point the the possession of the criminal British colonial empire, uh, and much of the colonial governing, as well as judicial and business and banking. Uh, unfortunately, uh, was not uh, eliminated. So you know, they had they probably were very much still tied in with the Western system, like Microsoft and Android and so on and so forth, and probably the IO for the Apple, the iOS for the from Apple, and so uh, that's probably the only sector of Hong Kong, and Hong Kong is an autonomous, meaning they have it's an autonomous zone. They have their own system, so it's one country, two systems. Uh, so yeah, I'm not surprised about that. But the rest of probably the rest of China, except maybe Macau, and a few other areas which is still probably uh, is heavily influenced by the West. Might have also experienced those issues, but Cloud Tech did not. All the other articles I read did not mention it. So, yeah, so if 8.6 billion people, that's a lot, were affected, but if they were going with like Harmony OS and Alibaba Cloud and all the other systems, or using Huawei and Xiaomi and all those other, they probably did not experience internet shutdown. Um, you know, because all those Xiaomi, Huawei, and there's a lot of Chinese, you know, phone, smartphone companies. Uh, they are also tied in with the China's satellite internet. So you know. So they probably did not experience it, and they were probably the fortunate ones. Uh, the Chinese stock market did not experience any interruptions. Their planes, their transportation, their hospitals, basically nothing. So, the thing is, uh, if you understand Microsoft, if you understand how CrowdStrike became what they are, that all these people are criminal malfeasance. All these the heads of it and others, they're all malfeasant. They have criminal malfeasance, and so it is no surprise that CrowdStrike, which became so influential and powerful, caused this interruption. Because these people are some of the most criminally corrupt people in the world, and they may have actual people that can actually without, if they weren't directed to be, to do certain things, they probably wouldn't have had these issues. But the people that are telling them how to do this, what to do, why they want it, and I was like, that's the reason why. So it has nothing to do with the technology or the people that actually do the programming and do everything else. It's because they're being directed. Why? Because they got these monstrous criminals who who put their effort into building up monopolies, building up influence, so that they can make more money and give a fuck all for whatever happens. That's the reason. China has the largest digital platform. There are literally billions of people in China, including a lot of people that are that either live or do business in China that uses digital payment. They don't worry about experiencing people hacking into their accounts, or having some sort of failure, because China makes sure there's redundancies. They make sure there are laws to prevent that sort of stuff. Some years ago, Alibaba, Jack Ma of Alibaba, tried to put together a banking and financial thing that was that would be outside of the control of the Chinese banking and financial system. And Jack Ma and Ant Group were smacked with a massive fine, and basically we're told don't ever try to do that again. So I personally think the Chinese should have arrested Jack Ma and other cronies who were trying to do that, to privatize and divide and create their own little monetary and financial. I personally think that's what the Chinese should have done. If what CrowdStrike and what Bill Gates of Microsoft, in today's time, we're trying to do that, and they were part of the Chinese market, and they did what they did. Guess what? The Chinese would have. I know for a fact that the Chinese government would have had them arrested. They would have gone in and did an audit. Because that's exactly what Microsoft did. They created a monopoly, and the Chinese don't do monopolies. I'll just say. Actually, I'll retract. I'm not positive, but I'm pretty damn sure that the Chinese would have seen that as criminal corruption. So, anyways, yeah, it's not a worldwide. It's specific to those using the monopoly, the tech monopoly of the from the U.S. So the Europeans, the Europeans were affected. The Japanese were affected. The South Koreans were affected. The places in Africa were affected. In South America and Central America, that were heavily where the American tech and Western tech was heavily seeded. So in Australia, so it's not a world. It's a West, in Canada and in the United States and probably Mexico as well. It's where the tech monopoly, uh, uh, you know, had seeded all this, all their so-called technology. That's who was affected, not China, not China. So understand, 8.6 billion. There's a lot, but that's certainly not China. It may very well be also in Russia, but I think that Russians may have redundancies. That I don't know for sure, but I do know that the Russians and the Chinese are sharing technologies, sharing policies because for self-sufficiency, for tech sovereignty and all the, and I think that Russians, I think probably the Russians probably understood, or at least coming to understand. So, but the Chinese have been doing this for years, well before this happened. So, if anything, Cloud Tech and the others basically say, the Western world and the rest of the world should take and learn from China because they had no disruptions, absolutely not, and so and China is just business as usual, and so yeah. Who's the one causing it? Well, it's your so-called I'll go because I don't consider myself to be part of the West. I'm forced to be part of the United States and West, but I don't consider because I view it from your so-called private companies and private the private sector to your so-called governments and everything else. I view them as nothing more than pirates, privateers, mafias, just high criminals. And I've said this before, they're high criminals. And so, yeah, I'm not surprised. And so, people, when you come to realize and you come to view things the way I do, then you understand that that they are the problem. They are the high criminals, and so there's that.